Well, just I just did a 20-minute goodbye video saying goodbye to all of these pens, and I ended up not turning the camera on. So, damn it. I will do it all over again, but I'll make it faster. So when I say goodbye to pens, sometimes I regret that they're going away. Sometimes, I see the handwriting of the person that has it, or the kind of shirt they're wearing, or if they have a hat that says "Make America Great Again." I think I just want to cry because I know that they're not going to be used for good. They're only going to be used for bad if some people end up with them. So I will show you the pens that I'm saying goodbye to in this case. These are the first 4 are going to Canada, and I'm dipping in sort of dirty water rather than ink because I don't want that they're all sort of ready to go. I don't want to make them all dirty again. So as you can see, I've completely flushed out all the old ink. No, I did not. No. So anyway, this is a pen that will be used by its owner to, among other things, you'll be speaking all sorts of different languages, pen. You'll learn French maybe, or German, or who knows what you're going to be writing and what you'll be translating, but you're going to be very sophisticated in no time. Goodbye. Remember to wash your ears. Your ears do get dirty, especially around here. This one is a nice little springy wall nib. This one looks like it would be good for translating cuneiform. How do you say goodbye in Phoenician? Is there where's Russell? He should be here. He knows how to speak French and Spanish and English, and according to Parker Schiavello, he also has a Russian accent and Klingon thrown in there. So, but a really boingy little nib on this one. Okay, goodbye. Goodbye. The accountant nib on this pen, the owner of these pens, the new owner of these pens, likes really, really thin barreled pens and really thin nibs. So an accountant nib is what he requested for this pen. And this was a very difficult pen to put together, because I found out this morning, that there was a crack in the barrel and a crack in the cap lip. So I had to search high and low to find a barrel and a cap that didn't have a crack in it, because when I put a nib in it and finally got it ready to go, I didn't see these other issues. And part of that is because my eyesight is going, and the other part of it is I don't look carefully enough in my zeal and my excitement to get the nib to try out if the nib works. So I have to do a better job of selecting pens, putting them together, putting a sack in them, making sure they work, and then, and only then, do I say, oh, I've got a pen. Here's a pen that's all ready to go. But because I sort of have been building pens from the parts from the nib up, I sometimes say, well, I can put this nib in whatever pen, and I end up promising something I may not have. This was another case in point. This pen when it was all ready to go, there was a little chip I noticed out of the threads on the barrel. So it took me a long time to find this barrel, but I found it. And this nib that, oh, I forgot to do something with the accountant nib. I'll do that later. But this one is very similar to a patrician, Lady Patricia, that you'll see in a minute. But this one has such breeding, such poise, such amazing fine line. You know, this is of all the nibs, I think this is the nib that I would use the most. In fact, I really have had so much fun once I got the pen all put together and trying it out. I've really had fun writing with this pen. So maybe the owner will put this pen in his will, and it'll come back to me. Can I make that request? So the accountant nib, I was writing on the first time I did this video when I wasn't broadcasting or recording. I was writing the word goodbye in a number of different languages, 3 different languages, English, French, and using these pens, because they're going to a person who translates things. So I thought I better get them ready to start learning how to speak other languages. In the accountant nib, I thought, well, how does an accountant nib say goodbye? You know, the accountant nib writes in the universal language of math. So how would they say goodbye? And this is how they do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Blast off. Goodbye, pen. Goodbye, pens. Goodbye. So they're going to Canada. Turn the page. These are going to Brussels. The pencil needs to have his ears cleaned. There's a piece of lead caught in the nose there that a straight pen can remove, but I don't know where that is. I'm not going to do it. You can do it. I'm sure you can buy a straight pen in Brussels. This is the first pen that was in. No, this is the second pen that was part of this person's package, and in my attempts to repair the other one that had dings and stuff in it, which were charming to the new owner to be, I realized I had to file a part of it down, and it wasn't going to be airtight. So I found this pen and put the nib in that. Found a pencil to match, so we're good to go on this one. Nice rubbery nib. This will be a really nice one to draw with, though the original one we were getting to draw with was the Skyline, which also has a nice rubbery nib, a little bit more rounded, and might be this one you can sort of push around the page, and this would be a good one to sketch with. And this he has a Skyline in his collection now, but this is the smaller of the 2 standard sizes, so that'll make a nice younger brother to the one he already has. As a complement to a 51 he already has, we selected a Waterman Taperite, mainly has a nice nib and it has a little tiny bit of flexibility, as they do, that 51s don't have. And this was a pen this pen will make him appreciate the 51 more, and the 51 will make him appreciate this pen more. This is the sort of grass is always greener on the other side of the desk, because they both have qualities that the others lack. But they're both, when you see them as a side-by-side kind of thing, they both lack something. The 51 lacks flexibility, and this Waterman Taperite lacks the gravitas and the originality of the 51, which is what this was trying to copy. So it's really, it's this pen, again, it's like the movie Kind Hearts and Coronets, where our hero is being let out of prison for his being found innocent of killing someone he did not kill, even though he killed 12 people to get into prison in the first place, or to get his position, his high-ranking peer. I don't know. Is he a count? What is he in the movie? He's not a. What is it? A duke or duke? No, he's not. Is he a duke? I can't. He's one of those, earl or a duke, and he kills all of the people that are next in line. And in so doing, he ends up murdering the wife, the husband of one of his one of the people that's in line for the dukedom. And all of the people in that movie that play the people he's killing are played by Alec Guinness. And so you see Alec Guinness as an old lady, you see Alec Guinness as a young man, you see Alec Guinness as an old man, and it's really quite fun. And he kills them all off, and he ends up going to prison for murdering someone that actually committed suicide. And as he's leaving, he sees the two women that he has to decide between. And when he's with this woman, he's always thinking of this one, and vice versa. So it's a cute movie, and this pen is like Lady Descoing, and this one is like the other one. So it's I just got a text message from the new owner of this pen, who can't watch me saying goodbye. But anyway, it's a cute movie, and so this pen will make him. He's sort of getting two pens in one. He's getting this pen, but he's also learning that there's so many things about the Parker 51 that he will appreciate all the more. So it's sort of a magical pen that way. The Eversharp, sorry, the Esterbrook, this is another sort of pen to sort of fill in a collection of a couple of dozen pens where, you know, for every collection should have an Esterbrook in it, regardless of how sophisticated you might be. There are very rare sophisticated Esterbrookes. There are some that are rather common. This is a relatively common one, but what's nice about the Esterbrookes is they have interchangeable nibs, and I'm including, this is a rather nice nib in it, but I am including a stub nib that is not an Esterbrook nib, but it does fit. It screws in perfectly. And I'm also including a never used, but one of their cheaper quality nibs, just as a, this is probably the typical nib you're going to find on an Esterbrook are the cheaper ones they made. And you could pay an extra $1 maybe and get a fancier nib or a better quality nib. So anyway, he's getting both those nibs. We also have this little golf pen. I'm going to end with him. We have this beautiful, very lovely nib on this Waterman Lady Patricia sort of pen in Persian, it's called. And I don't have one of these in my collection, so I'll miss this one maybe the most. And it has a really sweet nib on it as well, which I will miss as well. The first pen in the pile, this person's pile, was this one, which is really another nice, slightly flexible feather touch nib, and it's really sweet. The feed, for some reason, the feed has white on it, and I don't know if someone dipped it in white paint, and I'm just leaving it there. It's part of its history, so I'm just going to keep it there. And this particular owner in Brussels likes patina on pens. So these are the pens that were in the pile that he selected. And it was time to, there were still other pens in the pile that we were considering. And he said, can I just see what they all look like again? So we were talking on Skype, and we brought this one in, a little Sheaffer golf pen. And we decided on this pen to add to it because of its stature. The other pens, there was another, you know, it could have been this pen. It could have been maybe a Parker dual fold jackknife and things like that. But we settled on this one, or he settled on this one. I don't exactly know why, but if I had to come up with a reason, if this is an orchestra, a small orchestra, and this is the piccolo player. Or if these were singers, this is the castrati. Hello, Miss Marilyn. This is the castrati. You need to have that castrati in there. So if you don't have a castrati, you just, you know, take one of the tenors and say, just drop your drawers for a second. Let me get my scissors out. Snip, snip. And then you've got a castrati. Or if you don't want to go that route entirely, you could say, okay, learn to become a contralto. Countertenor, I'm sorry. Learn to be a countertenor, or sing in your falsetto voice or something. Learn to yodel. But this was needed in this band of musicians or singers because of the difference of stature. And this has a really sweet little nib on it too. Let me just write goodbye, make one last little scribble with this one. It's almost a little stub nib. And I don't know what it is about these little tiny pens, but I like not to post them, because even if I post them, the cap, it just seems wrong. Even though these are the pens that I probably would most likely need to post, I really kind of like having this one being able to be entirely hidden in my hand, and I can sort of take notes without anyone knowing that I've got a pen in my hand. So anyway, we're just going to say goodbye to all of these, and I'll say hello now to Marilyn Darling, Ms. Marilyn Darling. And so those are the pens that are going off today. So now I can say good morning to you, Marilyn. and I can talk for a little tiny bit before I have to take a shower. Wipe this ink off my hands because I'm meeting someone for lunch today as well. Today, first of all, Marilyn, did you enjoy our little clam bake with Neville yesterday? Oh no. Well, sorry to hear that. Well, the jaunt is, I won't eat anything that'll be bad for me. But, you know, for indigestion, you're the person to get it because you'll know how to fix it. Yeah, he is very entertaining. He's very smart. He's just really, I just love how his brain works. It's always on, and he's impish. That's what's fun about him. He's someone who would tie your shoelaces together, and it's really, well, you could have gone to cooking school, Ms. Marilyn Darling, and you could have made food, I suppose. What did you eventually see the Ian and Ian's calligraphy? I think you had left by then, but Ian does this great blackhand stuff that's quite fun. And when you get Ian and Neville in the room together, you can just sit down and watch, because they do their own show. They don't need us. So, oh well, Ian got on after 6 o'clock, and I think you may have left by then. He had a very dark beard and mustache. Oh, funny. And this morning, Marilyn, you might like seeing the conversation I had with Nicola Pang. He has been fishing a lot since COVID. His calligraphy business went down the tubes. And Nicola Pang is, he's the guy that started calligraphy only 5 years ago after breaking all of the bones and tendons in his writing hand. So in order to, he'd never done calligraphy before that. And in order to regain the muscles in his hand and to learn how to reuse his hand, he said, well, I might as well learn how to do calligraphy with it. And now he's a calligrapher. And, you know, it makes me want to go out and have my hand run over by a truck. Because but what he did, he learned how to do calligraphy the right way. And he also learned how to do, he learned out how all the history of the alphabets and you know, I'm very lazy with my calligraphy skills and also with my calligraphic learning. I look at an alphabet and I like it, and I might see, oh gee, that's really a neat looking B that they make in that Romanesque style or whatever, and I'll take that B that I see in the Romanesque, and I'll translate it in my own way to become a script letter, you know, a B that might look like this in some sort of alphabet. I'll borrow and turn into my own kind of letter, where Nick is more of a purist, or he can be a purist. He knows exactly how to do everything that he does. So he might see something that I write, and he'll say, "Oh, I see that you're using a Callipygian P from Romanesque times or something, or whatever," and I'll say, "What are you talking about?" And he'll point it out, and okay, I'll take your I'll take your word for it, Nick. Yeah, Paul Antonio is way above. He's in the stratosphere. He's so perfect in what he does, and he'll take his, he'll show how he makes a script capital B, and and Nick does this too, but Antonio maybe explains it better, where he has, something is divided into 16ths. So that little line down here is only a 16th height above the whole letter, and that's way too anal for my brain. But analytic, is it like anal and analytic at the same time? Analytic. Yeah, he's very, it's amazing to watch both of them. So, exactly. So anyway, I'm going to put this book over here, and I'm going to take a shower and see if I can put these pens in a package and wrap them up. I know I've got international customs forms and stuff to fill out, which I hope I can do by myself without having to read a manual on it. And but we'll see you later, Ms. Marilyn. So goodbye, and hope your indigestion goes away. I'll have a nice day. And actually, I have to tell you a funny story. One of my pen collector friends, whenever he is in a grocery store or something, and he buys his groceries, and the clerk behind the counter, "Have a nice day," and they don't even know what they're saying. They just say it because they have to. And my friend Ernie says, "Thank you, but I have other plans." And I just love that. "Thank you, but I have other plans." And they say, "Huh?" And then they sort of hear, they replay the tape in their head, and I think they think that he's going to now get his gun and climb a tower and shoot people. So thank you, but I have other plans. But you have to say it in a ominous way. And he also, coming from his body, he has very long white now hair, he's like Ichabod Crane, very, very thin, and has a very sinister smile when he wants to. And I'm sure when he says that to people, he puts on his sinister smile. He's a organist at a church, and his wife is a minister at a church, and not the same church. I don't know if they've ever practiced together, but they Episcopal church for both of them, but I think they work at different places. And his hands are just this long, elegant, each one is like a mile long. Oh, hello. You missed the au revoir. Well, I said so many nice things about your pens. But Benjamin Brecht, Bartholomew. Brain is just gone. All of these names are driving me crazy. I am planning on, your pens are right here. I have to say that what I really need to do is look at a pen, fix it, make sure it doesn't have any cracks anywhere, and then I'll show it to people. Because doing it the other way around, where I find a nice nib in a pen and I sell it to someone, then I later on find out that it is a crack somewhere. So the cap and the barrel on this one with the accountant nib are not the cap and barrel that you said you wanted, because they both had cracks. So anyway, they are now it is now crackless. And but I really do need to put a pen together, make sure it's all correct and working, and not, I mean, the flaws that it has, it might have a later nib, or it might have a replacement clip or something, it may have issues, might have teeth marks or a name engraved on them, but it's the cracks either in the nib or the barrel or the cap that I really need to pay attention to, because they're sort of the last thing I think about. And I don't know what you're writing in cuneiform there. Bracket, accent bracket, hyphen. I was talking to a woman and I was writing names at a farmer's market, sitting on the curb, and I was showing kids how to write in cursive, and I had my Victrola there, and we were playing Victrola records, and kids hadn't even seen a CD, let alone a shellac record, because they're too young. And they were just amazed that this thing that isn't connected to the power could actually make noise. And so I would write their names, and every once in a while people had funny names and funny ways to spell things, Cassandra with a Q or something. Like, oh, come on, people. Anyway, this woman came up to me, or was watching me do this, and she said, well, I have a name spelling that will beat anything that you can think of. And I said, what? And she said, the name is Ladasha. And I thought, was it Eldasha? And I thought, Lydasha. No, that's not how you do it. Ladasha. So I tried calligraphing all of these different ways of spelling Eldasha, and I'll show you. I'll write it out how this person's name is legally spelled. L-A, L-A. L-A. And I thought, well, oh, okay, I understand. So does she have a sister named L-hyphen-A, or L-A? Yep, L-A, L-A equals Ladasha, La-minusa, La subtracta. My name is La Subtracta. That's a stripper name if I've ever heard one. And now, take your hands out of your lap and put your hands together for our next stripper, La-minusa. Because that's what she's going to do, ladies and gentlemen, mainly gentlemen. I don't know whether ladies get off on. So La-minusa, Ladasha, La-hyphena, La subtracta. All of those can work with that. And these hyphenated names, you know, Mr. and Mr. Smith Jones, where they have a minus, they should have a plus sign. Smith plus Jones. It's too early in the morning for this for you? So anyway, these are the pens I said goodbye to. The one that I had the most fun saying goodbye to, I was writing goodbye, and I did this entire video first without recording it, without going live. So the second time I did it, I was a little faster. But with an accountant nib, I thought the only way to say goodbye with an accountant nib, because mathematics is universal, was to do it this way. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. So that's how you say goodbye with an accountant nib. So anyway, Brecht and Brussels. Brussels is in here now. He may show up later after I'm done, which is going to be in about a minute. I will try to figure out these customs forms and get to the post office this afternoon. And if I can't figure them out, I will try to do them later this afternoon. The woman at the post office did say I should come in and show them the form there in case I misfilled it out. Well, it doesn't have to have an accountant's personality, but it's a very interesting nib. You might hate it, but it's yours now. No, you might. It's a very different personality from this one. This is the nib I think you might like the most. It's really a sweet, slightly springy nib to it, but you'll have fun regardless. So you'll have fun with all of them, I'm sure. So on that note, I am going to go take a shower because I'm having lunch with a friend of mine, and I don't want to go to lunch with a filthy, inky fingers. So, but I'm glad that these are getting in your hands, both you and Brussels. And Marilyn, you should have your nibs in your hands. And I included, Marilyn, your pens. Let me show you how, when you're opening your package with the pens, the nibs, the two nibs, what I did was I took a piece of cardboard, corrugated cardboard, and I taped on top of it 3 pieces of cardboard. And then in the little depression, I put the 2 nibs. and then I put another piece of cardboard on top. I put tape, not Scotch tape. It's sort of a painter's tape. It's blue tape. It's not all that sticky, but it's just keeping them safe. And then I put a piece of cardboard on top of that, and then bubble wrap on top of that, so they're very safe. And I also gave you 2 or 3, I can't remember, feeds. And then I included that little green pen with a steel nib. And this one was free. I mean, you gave me a tip with your payment, so this is your tip money I spent on that pen for you. So you're going to have fun, testing it, seeing how these nibs work for you. Again, I see your hand, or I think your hand might be a little heavier than mine, but we'll find out. Maybe with the Boinga Boinga nib, you'll have to pull back a little bit. Well, thank you much. So anyway, it'll be a fun thing. I just have to, getting these pens ready for you guys has been a lot longer. I enjoy talking to you and selecting the pens with you, but it's the selling a pen before I fix it, before I look to see if there are any problems with the things that I normally don't pay attention to. That's the thing that I have to do first now. I have to fix the pens first. I've learned a lesson. This one, the one I just showed you? Oh, no, this one. Yeah, this is the first pen you picked out, or the first pen I picked out for you. When I tried it out, I thought, okay, this is the pen that he's going to want, or that he will want, a pen that he will want. So it has a little tiny bit of flex. This one, the Accountant nib, is in a way the firmest of them, but it's also very fine. So you'll also notice when you look at the pen from the side that the nib and the feed look like they're going up a little bit more than straight out, and that is what they look like they're doing. But when I put this nib in, that's what it wanted to do. I mean, it's just very funny. I don't know if the section has the hole drilled in a little crooked or something, but it was really funny. So anyway, you'll figure it out. This is a Waterman, yeah. Uh-oh. Someone just texted me. Who is this? Well, I don't know who texted me. Oh, there. Is that it? No, that's not it. I heard a ding. Did you hear a ding? Here a ding, there a ding. Is it that? No, it's not that. Oh well, who knows? So these will go both Bartholomew, Canada, and Brussels. I will do the best I can after I take my shower to look at the customs invoice and try to estimate what the cost is going to be for shipping. I have no clue what that's going to be. I know I haven't invoiced either one of you yet, but I know that you'll pay me. So we can deal with that later today, even after I send them, because I trust you. That other person, nah, I don't trust them at all. But no, I trust all of you, almost all of you. So anyway, you all be good. Let me put this over here before I completely drop them all on the floor. We'll go back to square one. How do I turn this thing off? No, I don't. I'm not going to insure them for more than what you're going to pay me for them, but often I don't insure them at all. I mean, sometimes insurance comes with things that's up to a certain point, and most of the pens I sell don't go over that point. But we'll see. We'll see what I do. I'll surprise you. So anyway, you be good. Get back to your work. See you all later. I have to get cleaned up. So bye-bye.